What's up, guys? So today I'm doing the furnace AC install, working on the AC half right now. As you can tell, I've already took my breaker apart. I just disconnected my high voltage from here, my low voltage from here. Now I'm getting ready to, I don't know if I seen, so my high voltage from here, my low voltage from here, or which would have been here, high voltage from here, which would have been in my contactor. Getting ready to take my tool now and cut this line set tool. I mean my cutters, my copper cutters, and cut my line set there. Get this old unit out the way, tear that pad out, and put a new one down. So I don't know how much of this you guys really are going to be able to see, but in the spirit of getting footage, I already recovered everything. I wish I would have took footage of it, but I didn't. Oh well, it's too late now. So when I do this, I try to cut as close to my line as possible, because 9 times out of 10 the new unit is going to sit close to it, and it's going to be so much easier if I can just slide these connections into place, or if I got to add just a little piece instead of, you know what I'm saying, a whole big piece to it, or a whole long piece, or redo the whole thing. uh, when you're doing these, baby, the same way you take them apart 9 times out of 10 is the same way you put them together. So the same place you took the high voltage out of, you'll return the high voltage to a spot like that on the new unit. Same place you took the low voltage out of, you replace it on the new unit, the same spots. Just like that. Baby is loose, so take all my trash and stuff from off of there. So now we got everything hooked on the new unit, on the old unit. Let's take this baby out. Hold on. Boom. Old unit gone. Old unit gone. Grab my hammer. Go into the side of this baby. Pull this old pad up. And there you have it, guys. So far, got the old unit removed. Sitting there now. So now I'm about to go get my pad, get it set, put the new unit in, get brazed in. So let me go grab the new pad and I'll show you guys how I set those. So these are the tools that I feel like you need to level a pad. And I feel like this because this is all I've ever really used to level the pad. But as you can tell, the blueprint of the old pad is much bigger than the new pad. So I'm gonna get this baby situated. So first thing you have to know is that your AC is always sit to the left or the right of your disconnect box. So you should never put it in front of the disconnect box. So that already is partly the reason why I've already chosen kind of this corner to put my AC in, because that way I'm to the left of the disconnect box. You know, you're supposed to be at least 12 inches off the wall. So I'm gonna use my tape measure to measure how far I'm off the wall and to make sure I'm level with the wall. I'm gonna use my screwdrivers to mark the corners of where I want my pad to sit and I'm gonna use the level, of course, to level. So use my tape measure to get level or to get even. So I see I want to be at about 18. So 18 on that side, and now I'm 18 on this side. So I would take my screwdrivers. I want corner there, corner there, corner there. So I got corner there, my screwdriver set, corner there. I'm just going to step on this pad because I feel like I'm gonna get it pretty level without doing a whole bunch to it. But now level there. Level there. Level there. And level there. So now that our AC is level, our pad is level, take all these screwdrivers out. Now it's time to set the AC on the pad. So I'm gonna set the AC on the pad and I'll get back with y'all in a second. All right, guys, so now I got the new unit set. Let me show you real quick. Got the new unit set on the pad. First thing I'll do now is I prepare myself to braze. So I'm going to take off these king valve caps. I'm gonna take those off and I'm gonna remove my Schrader valves from the inside of there. So take those babies off and then use my, all right, my Schrader. I got a 13-in-1 screwdriver, so I'll take that in there. Boom, and I take those and I put it into my cap so that way I don't lose them. Now I just need a little piece of line set so we can make these connections and we'll get brazed in. I'm gonna go grab all that stuff. Be back. Gotta get my lines together, so first thing I do is sand these babies down. And I try to kind of sand them down at a down position so that way no debris or anything is getting into my lines, right? Handy dandy swaging tool, right? So we're gonna stick this baby in here, open this up some. You gotta take your time with these and you gotta go around in a full circle or you'll split your pipe. And that just means you gotta cut a piece and a lot of extra stuff. So to avoid all that, on the liquid line, you really gotta be careful because this baby splits super easy. All right, so most times I try to avoid using fittings, but in this case it just fit. Digress. So I got me a little 45, throwing this baby. Get this baby put up in there. Just like that. This is the furthest joint away from me. I'll start over on this side. Alright, so now I got my nitrogen on. I got some stuff to put, what do you call this stuff? Thermo trap. So I take a little bit of thermo trap, throw it on this baby like so. Now I'm going to get my nitrogen flowing. When I blaze, I like to always start at the furthest joint and work my way in, so that way everything is just heating going in. So we're gonna start here. mirror. We check our work, which I must say, for as much brazing rod as I use, looks pretty good. And I purposely use a lot of brazing rod. I'm not gonna lie, because I don't want no leaks. Boom, just like that. Now we got brazed in on the outside. Let this stuff cool for a minute, wipe it off, check the braze joints, go inside, braze in there. Get back with y'all in a minute. So a part of the outside is the inside. And we're replacing the full system today, so we gotta replace the coil. So right now we got the furnace set, meaning that, you know, the furnace is set to where where it's gonna be installed. Now I gotta get these lines brazed in so that way I can keep working outside. And then I'll come back in and I'll do the metal and stuff, but I want to get the outside done. So in order to do that, I got to get brazed in. So that's what I'm getting ready to do now. Put some copper here, braze in there, some copper there, braze in there. Liquid line filter dryer arrow always goes inside or towards the coil. And yeah, so that's what I'm getting ready to do. All right, guys, so I'm brazed in on the inside. So now we got a pressure test. So I'm hooking up my core removal tools. The core is still in the cap over there. So I'm hooking these babies up. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my probes and I'm gonna put them on here. But for now, I don't know if y'all seen that. So I'm gonna take my probes and put them on here and here. This side will be blocked. I'm gonna open this side up. I'm gonna add my pressure from this side. So let's throw this on here. So if we come over to here, our nitrogen, right? And we turn this baby up to 350, right? So we know we got nitrogen in our tank because this is how much nitrogen pressure is in the tank. This is how much pressure you're about to push out of the unit or out of the can. So I'm about to let this fill up real quick while I go grab my gauges and then we'll hook those up. So come over here. I got pressure going in. I'm gonna stop it for a second because I don't know how much went in there, but I want to make sure I don't have any leaks that can be detected with a little bit of nitrogen before I go put in a whole bunch. So I'm gonna go grab my gauges and go check for some minor leaks real quick, and I'll be right back. So I didn't have any leaks. Now I'm adding my pressures. You see the pressure is going up. I'll let it get up to around 350, anywhere between 250 and 350. I believe you are great. now we wait for this baby to stabilize a little bit. Close that. Wait for this baby to stabilize, and while it's doing that, I'm about to mess with this electric. So how do I mess with the electric? All right, so first things first, gotta go get my bag. I'll be back. All right, so while we were out there, our pressures equalized. I'm gonna take a picture of this with my phone and then set me a timer for 15 minutes. So where's my timer at? And then set me a timer, 15 minutes, and then we'll see what happens from there. So now I'm about to mess with this electric. The first thing I tell anybody, especially people who work with me, even though I know for certain that I turned off the breaker, I still gotta test it to make sure that all power is off, because I like life, right? So I am going to, now that I know all the power is off, I'm going to start removing wires. So this is to the unit. So you got line and you got load. Load always goes to the unit. Line always goes from the breaker box. So you really don't have to undo the load side because all the whole disconnect is going away. So we'll take off this one. Take off this one. And then one tool that I have that makes life kind of easier. I don't know how it's going to work in this situation, but we're going to try it and find out. Is this baby. And it makes taking those 1/2-inch grommets that don't never want to come out, generally makes it a little bit easier, but because of how this thing is made, I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to find out. So in this situation, this is kind of just stuck. I can't really do anything with it. I don't know if you can see that. So what I'm gonna do is just make sure all my wires are loose, and I'm gonna pull this whole piece out, and I'm gonna just replace it with a new piece. So take that baby like that. Now the disconnect box is gone. All right, so only got one screw in so far, but all I did was take this box, put it up here, take my black marker, dot my hole. I drilled my line, I drilled my hole. I take my disconnect box, set it up there. My level, sit it on top. So boom, that's level. I'm gonna take my marker, I'm gonna put 2 more holes in there, and I'm gonna drill through that. I'll be right back. All right, so here, I got a hole here, so I'm gonna drill a hole there. All right, so I got both of my holes drilled. I'll take these red tap, whatever you call these things, and it's concrete bits or whatever, and put them in there. I left my hammer downstairs, so knock those in. And then now, I can take this baby, put it on like so. Boom, just like that. Disconnect is now mounted. We're gonna come up through this hole, so I generally take a screwdriver So I'm gonna do the load side first. Only reason I'm really doing that is because I want to see if I'm gonna have enough whip left over to fill the line side. So get this up here. So boom. And what I'll do is I'm gonna put a clamp here. That's my timer for my pressure. So let's stop that. Let's look at our pressures. When we took our picture, we were at 343, 340, in 15 minutes. We dropped down 2. So I believe I can live with that. We 341 at the top and 338 at the bottom. And before we was 343 at the top and 341 at the bottom. So we'll rock with that. We'll get this baby off of pressure and get it on the vacuum. I always like to wire my ground wire first. So we'll take this ground. And then we'll take this baby down like so with the line set. So when I cut these, I use my PVC cutters, pipe cutters. And it really does the job. What my goal was, is what I was hoping was, is that this piece was gonna be long enough, which it is, to fit inside of there. So now we're gonna run this piece over top. So now I'm about to take our 90, throw it on here. Right. So now I would measure here to here. So I'm gonna cut that there. There, that red to there. I'm gonna cut that there. And then I know that my ground is over there. So I'm gonna ground that. So give me a few seconds to cut those. All right, so I got this put on there. Got to raise these babies up to here. And now, because all this is coming from the breaker box, all this goes into line. same thing for me applies. And then I'm gonna hook my wire up here. So these are alligator clips, and this is, to me, the easiest way, instead of having to drag an extension cord way over here. But it's also very, very dangerous because you're messing with high voltage. So my ring is off. In case my wife catches this video, I'm messing with electric. I like life, so that's why that's off. I don't want to be messing in that electric panel with nothing, you know, metal on my hands. All right, so now I'm working on my vacuum. What I just plugged up into there was my vacuum pump. I'll take this. I'll take that backwards, didn't I? That comes over here. So I always hook my vacuum up. If I generally use a one hose system, and I generally hook it up to my suction line side because it's the biggest side. It seems like it'll pull the fastest, right? And then throw my boom over there. All right, so this is my micron gauge, my probe. I got my vacuum hose hooked up there. Hooked up into my vacuum pump, of course. Set this baby a little more level. Got my vacuum plugged into there. So now I'm about to have Hunter turn on power, and then we'll start our vacuum, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. So give me a sec. So I just replaced the thermostat. I got yellow, green, blue, red, and white. This is the Honeywell T6 thermostat. I like these thermostats a lot. So I'm gonna throw some batteries in here, and then I'm gonna get on the phone so y'all, record so y'all can see me program. So I'll be right back. All right, so it's 2022, and September 6th, 12-hour clock, and it was 12:10 just a second ago. Let's save that. All right, so if you go to let me see, the advanced setup options inside the manual, when you first install these, it gives you a list of things, some things that you can control. So like the first thing is 3 or 120, and if you come over here and look at 120, 3 is programmable. And most people in Columbus, unless they specifically ask for it, I generally change this to non-programmable because they don't know what they're doing with it, and it'll lead to all types of problems later. Right now we're at a rental property, the tenant's not here, so I can't even ask, so we'll just go ahead and leave it at 0. 125, temperature indication scale, we'll leave that at 0. 200 is heating system type. We're going to do a conventional forced air, so 1. 205, heating equipment type. We're going to go standard efficiency. We're doing the 80% today. Enter. 220, cool stages, leave that at 1. 221. Heat stages, leave that at 1. 300. System changeover, manual, leave that at 0. 365. Compressor cycle, leave that at 3. 370. Heating cycle, we'll leave that at 5. 387, which is here. So let's see, 387. I like to leave my compressor on 5 minutes. A lot of guys that change that, I won't. Also, this is the minimum set point. At my house, the minimum set point is like 72 because my kids like to turn the air down. And but we'll leave it at 50. And here, the heat, mine is like at 78 or something like that. We're gonna leave it at 90 because everybody is different, but that's where we're at. So 435 now. Keypad lockout, we want none. 702. Number of air filters, we'll leave that at 0. 1410, clock format, we want 12-hour. 1415. Daylight savings, we want yes, so we'll leave that on 1. 1420, temperature display offset, we don't want any offset, so we'll leave that at, what was it? 0, I believe is what I had it at. And then we're done. So select done. And now our thermostat is wired. So we got it off right now, fan on auto. So I'm go outside and check my back. So it is 12:17. We got our vacuum on, and we got our vacuum going down. And we're gonna let this vacuum until I come back out here. We'll see what time it is when I come back out here and where we are. All right. So I just wanted to show this real quick. It's 12:19. We're already down to 421 microns. So, like I said, I'm about to let it run for a little while, and we'll see what it's like when I come back out. So, I'm just now getting back out here. It's 1:45. I got 68 microns. Been as low as 65. I'm about to set it up to start my rise test, and I'll show you guys how that goes. So give me a second to, so now I'm about to check this line over here. This conceals my vacuum and everything inside of it. Come over here, UEI app, hit that button there, and what that does, it sets my rise timer and my rise limit, so I shouldn't rise above. Sorry. All right, so it sets my rise limit, or my rise timer, and my rise limit, and I shouldn't rise above 1,000 in 10 minutes. So I don't believe that I am, because I vacuumed all the way down to 68. So let me do this, let this sit for a second, and I'm gonna let me see. I'm gonna put my vacuum away. I'm gonna let this sit for a minute, put my vacuum away, start putting all my stuff together, and I'll come right back in a second. So when the rise test passes, it'll say quick test passed, like on my home screen. And then, you know what I'm saying? So that's what it'll look like. You still got 5 minutes left on this rise test. I'm still taking stuff around to the truck, so I'm gonna continue to do that. So give me a second and we'll come back before I open it up. So now we're ready to open up the lines. So I'm gonna start with my king valve over here. Put my wrench in there like so. And you're gonna turn it to the right. They're generally a little hard to push over, so I kind of just, nudge it. Boom, opened up. Open that baby all the way up. Close that. I meant to close this before I opened it up, but I forgot. So now I closed it. I can take this off because it's not needed anymore. It's my micron gauge. Open that baby up. Now we open, and I'm gonna go turn this baby on. So one thing that I love about the Measure Quick app is it tells me my airflow. So we got a 2-ton AC, which means our furnace air pressure for the AC has to be set to 800 CFM. So because the Measure Quick app gives us our static pressure per se, you know what I'm saying, it measures it for us. So we know we got 800 CFM, which is great, right? So if we come over to here, we see that our subcooling is 1.4, 1.5. And on the door, it says that our indoor TXV subcooling should be T. So we need to increase our subcooling by a lot, or at least up to 10. It's plus or minus 3 on these. So we're gonna add some refrigerant and go from there. All right, guys, so I got a 10-degree subcool, 14.5 delta T. And I think everything looks good, so I'm gonna take pictures and go from there.